Situated in the south of Spain, in the region of Andalusia, Granada offers rich history and gorgeous sights. In the following feature, I'll be showing you some of the city's most popular monuments, sites, and areas. Whether you're here for 2 days or 2 weeks, there's plenty you can do to make your time in Granada an unforgettable experience. So join me in Descubre Granada.
Before digging deep into Granada's charming attractions, it is important to know a little history behind the town's significance. Right here at the Plaza Isabel la Católica is the statue that shows the event leading to the discovery of America.
After Islamic conquest in the year 711 AD, Granada had a strong Muslim presence. Nearly 8 centuries later, in 1492, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella took Granada and imposed their ideals of the Spanish Inquisition that began a decade prior. In doing so, they exiled Muslim and Jewish inhabitants in order to establish Orthodox Catholic rule. Later that year, Queen Isabella granted Christopher Columbus permission to start his voyage that led to the opening of the New World and to the establishment of Spain as the first global power to dominate what would become the Americas. As Granada was the last city to be conquered by Ferdinand and Isabella, it became the temporary capital of Spain and inspired the Catholic monarchs to build the Capilla Real, which means royal chapel in Spanish. The coolest part of this historical building is that it holds the final resting places of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. If you look to the outside of the chapel, you can see the family's coat of arms to symbolize the equality of the king and queen's power in Spain. Another fine detail is the red graffiti in one portion of the chapel. The few students who graduated from the local school in the 16th century earned the right to paint their names on the Capilla Real with the blood of a calf.
Unfortunately, no photography or video is permitted inside the chapel, so that just means you have to come and see it for yourself.
Directly attached to the Capilla Real is the Catedral de Granada, or in English, the Cathedral of Granada. Started in 1523, after the completion of the Capilla Real, the cathedral replaced the main mosque and took nearly 2 centuries to complete. Through the use of massive Corinthian pillars and white-ribbed vaults, it was intended to give the interior a sense of space and lightness. In the center of the dome lies a silver altar with statues of the Catholic monarchs. Series of paintings and transparent stained glass windows decorate the area above it. Before leaving, don't forget to look up at the pipe organ hanging at the top of the cathedral.
In the midst of so much history and learning, sometimes it's nice to take a break by shopping.
If you're looking for some simple souvenirs or arts and crafts that could be found in a medieval Arab market, try walking down the narrow streets of the Alcaiceria. After being destroyed in 1843, this area of Muslim origin has been reserved for luxury goods such as fabrics, artisanware, and silks. sure to notice the detail in the delicate stucco and slender columns surrounding you, and maybe try the ancient practice of negotiating some prices down. Of course, you can't experience the true culture of a place without trying the local food. Granada is one of the few cities in Spain that does tapas the right way. Tapas are small dishes of typical Spanish food served for free with drinks. But tapas aren't the only option if you're looking for a little something to satisfy your taste buds between meals.
One of the most famous snacks in Granada is churros con chocolate. Delicioso!
And now that we've fully seen the center of Granada, it's time to make our way to one of the most historic areas of the city. The early city of Granada took shape over the centuries on a high hill known as the Albaicin. Dating back to the 1100s, the Albaicin, which translates to the neighborhood, was built with Islamic stylings under Muslim presence before the conquest of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
The Albaicin is like a maze. Since its early days, any additional structures were built on the side of pre-existing ones, so it has no specific layout.
As the area is almost impossible to navigate, prepare to lose your spatial awareness and explore. However, you might want to visit one of these tub-like contraptions before you begin your journey.
In various places around Granada are public fountains like this one. While it may seem strange, this water is actually safe to drink and a good place to fill up your water bottle before getting lost in the Albaicin.
Once you have your water and start to make your way up the dense network of streets, you'll come across the Bañuelo, which is one of the few establishments that was saved from destruction by the Catholic monarchs.
This is an example of an Arab bath from the 11th century. It was a place for the upper class to relax, socialize, and engage in ritual bathing.
Declared a national monument in 1918, you'll see several different sections that were dedicated to various temperatures of water. The hottest were those closest to the fire heater at the edge of the property. Continuing to walk to higher ground, you'll most likely run into wide open spaces called miradors. Miradors are public grounds with beautiful views. While several are local favorites, the most commonly visited is the Mirador de San Nicolás.
The Mirador de San Nicolás is a very famous spot for tourists as it hosts one of Europe's most romantic viewpoints at sunset. And not only that, but the area is free, so visitors can relax, listen to some local music, and enjoy the beautiful view of the Alhambra as it glows red.
As soon as the sun goes down, descending from the Albaicin can be a bit of an adventure. But if you leave the Mirador de San Nicolás walking to the right, you'll eventually find the edge of the Albaicin, which also has some great views and leads to Calle de las Teterías. This area is densely populated at night with more Arab market shops and Moroccan-style restaurants. You might even find yourself meeting some interesting characters.
Elizabeth tiene el ojo verde y guapa, el más guapa del mundo. El ojo como gato. Meow, meow, meow.
If you decide to enter one of the restaurants, you're in for a cultural treat as you'll get to sit on pillows and drink any type of tea you desire. With a very social setting and atmosphere, you'll probably even get to hear the stories of other travelers.
I was looking through some last minute flights, and there was one going to Granada, and since I knew two people who were studying abroad here, I thought, yep, I'm doing that, and yep, here I am one day after.
Very, very happy in my heart. Welcoming.
Down the road from Calle de las Teterías, and before entering the Albaicín, you'll find Hammam, a place where you can immerse yourself in history, as it was the first Arab bath in Europe to be reopened since the 16th century.
Cuando un cliente viene aquí, aportamos una gran experiencia al cliente, un antes y un después, como suelo decir. ¿Por qué? Porque el cliente cuando llega suele venir estresado, ajetreado, cansado, y una vez que entra y sale hay una gran diferencia. El cliente sale totalmente relajado y es capaz de continuar ese viaje.
To give you a very relaxed experience, it offers pools of varying temperatures, heated rocks, a steam room, and a massage with soothing aromas, all to the sound of Andalusian music surrounding you. The building's architecture also takes you back in time with intricate mosaics and geometric designs along the walls. Walking out of Hammam and past the Albaicín, you'll find a steep hill that leads you to yet another unique neighborhood that holds Granada's thriving Roma community.
Today, 50,000 Roma call Granada home, with many of them living in this district named Sacromonte.
Translating to Sacred Mountain, the Sacromonte has housed Roma, otherwise known as Gypsies, since the 18th century. Very steep and compact, most houses are burrowed into the wall of a cliff, and there's only one main street called Camino del Sacromonte. A kilometer or so down the main street is the Museo Cuevas del Sacromonte, or the Cave Museum of Sacromonte.
¿Cuánto tiempo ha pasado desde que personas han vivido aquí?
Bueno, estas cuevas se abandonan en los años 60, en principio en los 62, 63. Los habitantes de estas cuevas los desplazan hacia otras zonas de la ciudad más modernas por el hecho de que hubo una serie de lluvias en las que era inseguro vivir en cuevas y les obligaron a abandonarlas.
Vale. ¿Y por qué vivían en cuevas?
Bueno, en esa misma época había más de 3.000 cuevas habitadas en Granada capital. No era algo extraño, vivir en una cueva era muy usual.
¿Y todavía hay gente que vive en cuevas?
Sí, mucha gente. De hecho, muchas casas de las que veis desde fuera, que parecen casa, por dentro son cueva también.
In each of the caves throughout the museum, you'll see a different setup and scenario to demonstrate the types of activities and chores that occurred before the bustling community of Roma cave dwellers left after the 1950s.
The caves in the Sacromonte are man-made. In this particular one, the bedroom is at the end, the living room in the middle, and the kitchen at the front to allow for good ventilation.
As soon as you finish your exploration of the cave museum, make sure to pause, take a deep breath, and soak in the beautiful views surrounding you from this high region. Upon leaving the Sacromonte, you might see several buildings like this one, which host shows that display southern Spain's most famous art form called flamenco. Although there are many branches of flamenco performed throughout Spain, the most traditional includes a guitar, a singer, and a dancer. Each holds an intricate role in the performance, and each person plays off of the others. Flamenco has become a fusion of Romani and Spanish culture and originates from Granada's region of Andalusia. So if you're interested in cultural and artistic music performances, you've come to the right place. Since the presence of the Catholic monarchs centuries ago, religious holidays have remained another big part of Granada's culture. While there are many, parades and people crowd the streets every year to celebrate the biggest religious holiday in Spain. It's called Semana Santa, which translates to Holy Week, the 7 days preceding Easter Sunday.
Es algo muy necesario para nuestra cultura y la gente lo revive cada año otra vez. Por lo tanto, son personas que han vivido desde que eran pequeños con esa tradición y cada año lo renuevan. Aunque hay muchas personas que no creen, luego les gusta la Semana Santa.
Semana Santa includes daily processions, with each one containing ladies dressed in shawls who walk to mourn the death of Jesus Christ, penitents who seek forgiveness for their sins, and a band that plays minor key hymns to set the beat for their walking. However, the most important element of each procession is the beautifully decorated parade floats, which balance an image of Jesus Christ or the Virgin Mary.
These parade floats, known as tronos, are made out of real gold, with some of them dating back to the 16th century. The daily processions like the one behind me attract thousands of people from many walks of life into the streets of Granada.
One of the most popular is the one which descends from the Alhambra, Granada's most famous historical attraction.
Un palacio o un edificio único en el mundo, no hay otro igual.
Declared a World Heritage Site in 1984, the Alhambra, meaning Red Castle, is the most visited monument in Spain and considered a precious gem of Granada. Gradually built and added to between the 11th and 14th centuries, it was originally a city for the Moorish civilization before Catholic rule, with nearly 30 towers, palaces, and gardens filling the space. The most well-known way to enter the Alhambra is a climb up Gomeres Hill through the gateway of the Pomegranates. The best area to visit first is a fort called the Alcazaba, which is the oldest and most ruined part of the complex. From before the 13th century, this tower defended a town of 2,000 Muslims, but now simply offers fine city views of Granada.
The most famous jewel of the Alhambra is the Moorish royal palace, also known as Palacios Naseriés. Built in the 14th century, visitors can enjoy decorative patterns that cover royal offices, private quarters, and ceremonial rooms.
The first main area of the royal palace is Courtyard of the Myrtles. Since women rarely went out, this space was meant to offer a nice patio with a garden, water, and open sky. Continuing into what functioned as the throne room, the Grand Hall of the Ambassadors is the palace's largest room. The star-studded domed wood ceiling is designed to show the complexity of Allah's infinite universe. This is also the room where Christopher Columbus made one of his final pitches for his western voyage. Deeper into the palace is the courtyard of the Lions, where 600 years ago, only the royal family and their servants could enter. Finally, the last majestic sight to see while on the Alhambra hilltop is the Generalife. While it was not a part of the city and rather a garden summer retreat, it can now easily be viewed in your visit to the Alhambra by taking a short uphill hike. So let's take a look back at everything we've seen in Descubre Granada. We started by learning about the history at Plaza Isabel la Católica and how it relates to Granada's royal chapel and cathedral. Looking deeper into the small streets of city center, we viewed the shopping area of La Alcaiceria and tried some of the local tapas and churros.
Delicioso!
Ascending into the Albaicin, we explored all that it has to offer and ended the day at Calle de las Teterias to check out the social atmosphere.
Meow, meow, meow.
We also toured Hammam and hiked into the unique neighborhood of Sacromonte, where flamenco became well known. We then saw how processions work during Semana Santa and ended by seeing the famous and beautiful Alhambra.
From the Arabic stylings of the Alhambra to the Andalusian charm of the city, it is easy to fall in love with Granada. I'm Elizabeth Ruiz, and thanks for joining me in exploring Granada. Hasta luego!